morning. Welcome to Las Vegas FYI. I'm Marie Siren. In our current economic situation, it is more important than ever to know all of your options when it comes to your home. Today we have attorney Anthony DeLuca in studio to give us another perspective about loan modifications. Welcome back to the show, Anthony.
Thank you.
To continue our discussion about loan modifications, most people think that's their only option or it's the best option because they can lower their interest rates. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, based on all the advertising that's going on, I can see how people would think at a glance that this is a great idea. I mean, it sounds great. They're going to lower our interest rates. We might be able to reduce principal and be able to save our home. But the problem is that they're not getting all the details. I mean, first of all, in terms of principal reduction, I've only heard of a handful of people, and we're talking out of thousands and thousands and thousands, that have actually had any principal reduced at all. So a lot of big promises are being made that will never happen, particularly in the notion of principal reduction. So I wouldn't count on that ever happening. That means that if you owe $400,000 on the house and you're paying somebody, an attorney or somebody, $3,000 or $4,000 to modify your loan on the idea that you're going to get the principal reduced, it's not happening. You might as well take your money to the casino.
So what questions should people ask when they are thinking about getting a loan modification? What would you recommend for people to say to get a loan modification, or maybe talk to an attorney? Sure.
I mean, if you're gonna go down the road, I'm not a big fan of home loan modifications. My firm doesn't even do them. We're one of the few firms that does bankruptcy but does not do home loan modifications. We just don't believe they have any value for the clients long term. The first biggest problem is that it's a temporary fix, and that's even if you can get the modification done.
Right.
By the U.S. government's own statistics, 96% of the people who apply for this won't end up with a permanent modification. What will happen is they'll contact their bank. The bank will say, sure, let's put you in a trial modification. Let's see how you do. So for 6 months, they collect payments from these people, and then they foreclose on the home anyway. So as far as I'm concerned, a lot of it is almost like a scam. The banks are taking 6 months of extra payments from these people, and then they're foreclosing on the home anyway.
And you had said before the show that this could have possibly been something similar to what put us in this current economic situation to begin with. Can you elaborate?
Absolutely. Everybody remembers the big phrase subprime mortgage. That was thrown around. We must have heard it a million times over the last couple of years. Right. Well, how is that any different than the home loan modification? What got us into the problem was subprime loans. That means that they gave people who couldn't afford a home a smaller payment for a period of time, and then the payment jumped up. How's that any different than a home loan modification? Once again, you're reducing the interest rates down to a smaller amount so that people can afford it for a 3 to 5 year period, and then at the end it's going to jump up. And that's not what they're being told at these meetings with these attorneys who are doing the bankruptcies and the home loan modifications. They're not being told what happens after it's all over.
Right.
In other words, they go through this whole Chapter 13 bankruptcy process for 5 years. What happens when they get to the end of it and their loan jumps back up? Or when they get to the end of their loan, they have this massive balloon payment.
Right.
Their house is still going to be upside down 5 years from now. I mean, in Nevada, we've had a drop from the peak of 50 to 55% on home values. That's not going to recover in 5 years. If your house dropped from 400 to 200 and you still owe 400, I'm sorry to tell you, I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm pretty sure 5 years from now it's not going to double in value, which means you'll still have a home upside down. You're not going to be able to refinance. Your payment's going to jump back up, and now you're in the same exact spot as when you started.
And how can your office help?
Well, we're going to give you straight answers as to whether or not we feel any type of modification on the home is even worth it. We won't do the home loan modifications, but we'll get rid of a second mortgage for you. And more importantly than anything, we'll just give you straight answers. And if you have a home that you owe $450,000 and it's worth $175,000, we're not going to advise you to keep the home. We're just not. I mean, we're going to give you straight answers because the whole purpose of Title 11 of the U.S. Bankruptcy Code is rehabilitation of the debtor. It's to make your situation better long term. And in order to do that, sometimes it's best you just walk away from the home, rent, and then buy a house 5 years down the road that's worth the same thing that you're paying for it.
Some valuable information today. Thank you so much for coming back onto the show and elaborating a little bit more about loan modifications. Thank you so much. If you want more information about Anthony DeLuca or DeLuca Associates, please contact them on the number on your screen or the website. See you next time on Las Vegas FYI. Have a great day.